Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. In this video, we're going to be doing part 1 of my Pillar of Fire series. And what this is based on is a thunderhead that's lit up with lightning at night. So here are the brushes that you can use if you want to follow along traditionally. And these are mainly for acrylic. You can also use them for oils if you like, but don't mix the two. And here's the canvas that I'm using. I use canvas board. Sometimes I also use stretched canvas. It just depends on your preference. And then here are the colors that I use. These are usually Grumbacher Academy. Sometimes they're Liquitex acrylic paints. Sometimes the names will change a little bit depending on the brand. But these are the basic colors that I like to use when painting traditionally. The app that I'm going to be using is Infinite Painter for Android. And I have a couple of photo references that I got off pixabay.com. And like I said in the intro, that I want to make a big thunderhead that's lit up with lightning. And the reason that I'm calling it Pillar of Fire is because it's the Bible story in Exodus where the Israelites were led out of Egypt. They were led by God, showing them a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And here in New Mexico, you can see the clouds really light up at night when it's lightning, and you can see them for miles and miles, sometimes down to the Texas state line. And the air is clear enough that you can see the top of the thunderheads, and they're just lit up with the lightning inside the clouds, and you can't necessarily see the bolts of lightning, but you can see that they're lit up inside, and they kind of resemble a pillar of fire, and so that's why I'm calling them Pillar of Fire. And I've seen many of them at night, and I never do have my camera because I'm usually seeing them right before I go to sleep. So one of these days maybe I need to try to take my camera and get one of these, or use the video portion on my tablets or something to film it and then catch a still frame maybe. But anyway, but for this I used a photo reference from Pixabay that someone got of lightning, and then I also took a thunderhead cloud that you can see, and just kind of reverse the colors on it, and it shows pretty much what a cloud looks like at night when they're lit up like this. So here I wanted to go ahead and use some dark colors for the sky at night. Now I don't want them completely black, so I'm using dark blues, and if you're following along traditionally, it'll be ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple, maybe a little bit of Hooker's green. You just kind of want some nighttime colors, but the sky is going to be a little bit lit up when it's lightning like that with those great big thunderhead clouds. And then I wanted to put a little bit of a silhouette of some ground on the horizon, and I'm using dark green and almost black colors, just trying to show trees and sort of just give it some depth and some to just kind of give it some scale too, because these clouds are really big. They go way up into the night sky, and you, like I said, you can see all the way to the Texas line, and it's miles and miles sometimes. And so here I'm just working kind of on the underpainting of the clouds, and we want kind of a light blue mixture. And you can just take ultramarine blue and white acrylic gesso if you're following along traditionally, and you can use your filbert brush or your bristle brush for these. Just something to kind of give you some rounded edges. And I'm throwing in some darker color. You can throw in a little bit of some dioxazine purple mixed with the ultramarine blue, and then throw in some light colors, because you can see in the reference sometimes they look sort of a pink color, a yellow color, a peach color. I've seen them look like kind of orangey sometimes at night too. So just any light sort of a pastel color there. And then here I'm kind of blending them in because we don't want sharp edges yet. We just kind of want to show the areas of color that are going to be in these clouds. And you want to make sure that you get the thunderhead shape. It's kind of, some of them have sort of an anvil type shape on the top of these great big thunderhead clouds. And so you kind of want to get the look of that. And they're very billowy and puffy looking, so you definitely want to show that. That just shows the cumulonimbus. That's the scientific name, the cumulonimbus clouds. That's what they're called, the thunderheads. And so you kind of want to make sure that you get that big puffy look for that. And I'm using the filbert brush and any of the paint brushes and Infinite Painter there. To old oil will work. Some of those kind of brushes, just to give it kind of a acrylic and a painterly look. So here I decided that I didn't like the tree look, so I went ahead and tried to make it look like distant hills, sort of a mesa, and kind of a gap between them, just to kind of give it a look like it's more in the desert region of New Mexico, or the semi-desert region. And I'm trying to just kind of put some of the dark clouds that are floating behind the great big cloud for some contrast there in the background, and make the sky a little bit darker in places, just for more contrast, so that it shows that it's actually at night and not necessarily at twilight or in the morning or anything. We want it to be at night, because that's when these clouds really show up with that lightning. And the lightning just lights the inner part of the clouds, and you can see the shapes of the thunderhead very well at night, and it's really an impressive sight to see. And like I said, they're miles and miles away. You can see them for miles and miles away, and you won't even hear the thunder. You just see the light, and it does look like a pillar of fire. So here I'm adding a little bit of the highlights on the edge of the cloud, and I made the background a little bit darker using, you can use dioxazine purple and ultramarine blue, and that will make your sky a little bit darker. You can also show in a little bit, throw in a little bit of alizarin crimson, and this is all using your acrylics. And I'm adding the shapes now a little bit to the clouds. I'm trying to get the dark pockets in the clouds. There's pockets of dark and pockets of light, and this shows up in the daytime too, pockets of dark and pockets of light, but it's more pronounced and more sharp, I guess, when the lightning is striking in the clouds. And so here I'm adding sort of dark purples and grayish blues. You can get the grayish blue using ultramarine blue, and you can throw in a little Hooker's green will actually kind of give you a grayish color, or you can use burnt sienna for your acrylic painting, and throw in a lot of white acrylic gesso. So this is sort of the end of part 1 of my Pillar of Fire series, and in part 2 we're going to just work more on the details of the clouds and refine the shapes and add some more colors. So if you want to see that, then hit the subscribe button. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.